The new government here took office just in July, and it's been under quite a lot of pressure. It's a Labour government. Before that, it was a Conservative government. And there's been a pressure from some voters and also some of its MPs to take a much tougher line on Israel. You'll remember that a while ago there was a circus of voting in the UK Parliament over whether or not they should call for a ceasefire. And this is just a continuation of that sort of thing. The Labour Party went through a period of rampant anti-Semitism under its previous leader, Jeremy Corbyn. And though Sir Keir Starmer, the current Prime Minister and leader of the party, managed to effectively put an end to most of that, there is still an undercurrent, perhaps, of anti-Semitism within the party, and certainly very strong feelings against Israel, particularly during this war. And so David Lammy has now announced that on taking legal advice, he has decided to put in place this partial arms embargo. He tried to make his statement sound very contrite, as if he regrets the decision deeply, but felt that it was inevitable. But there have been legal experts who've said that the justification put out in detail by the government doesn't even make sense, particularly in terms of its legal framework. And so many are looking at this and saying that it coming so soon after Britain's decision not to try to stop the ICC arrest warrants for Benjamin Netanyahu, something the previous government had been trying to do, coming so soon after the refunding of UNRWA after this government took office, coming after Britain performing less than well as a friend for Israel at the UN. This could be seen as a herald of more to come, that perhaps Britain is moving away from Israel, even in this hour of need, even as it is still engaged in this war, even as there are still hostages, some British citizens, even as Iran is threatening the UK as well as Israel itself.
What kind of impact is this actually going to have on Israel's military capabilities, and how can we expect it to impact Israeli-British relations down the line?
Well, as far as Britain supplying arms to Israel goes, it's not a particularly important supplier of arms to Israel. However, it's very symbolic that this should be happening. And indeed, it could be problematic to both countries. There have been some warnings from America that should Britain choose to go down this route, Britain may itself suffer because America may not wish to allow this to happen. Indeed, some of the developments of weaponry and aircraft between Britain and America may be jeopardized because America is unlikely to stop supplying aircraft to Israel, for example, and Britain may place itself in a very difficult situation in that regard. For now, David Lammy was keen to point out that they are absolutely not compromising that particular area of cooperation and trade, but there could be more to come in this area and in others. And I think that we can take this as a barometer of the mood within this government, that it could in future be making life difficult for Israel, both in terms of this ongoing war and in terms of others in the future. I think that many people are saying there were warnings before the election here in July that this could happen were there to be a Labour government, and that it is now looking like it is happening, and there could be further frosty relations ahead.